So, you've joined the ranks of countless others who inspire kids and challenge them to reach for new heights. The impact that a teacher has on a student is real, and it is significant. But you already knew that. Sometimes that impact is positive, opening up new worlds for students. And sometimes it's negative, limiting a student's options. But you probably already knew that as well. Every decision made, every action chosen is rooted in a teacher's beliefs. Beliefs about students and beliefs about learning. Beliefs influence us, often without our awareness. Two of these beliefs are our standards and our expectations. Standards are the bar we set in our classroom, the level of performance we require. They may be academic and define what proficiency looks like in a particular content area. Standards may also be behavioral, defining the norms of how we will interact with each other in our classrooms, what is acceptable and what is not. Expectations are the belief we have in our students' capacity to succeed. They're our conviction that kids can reach high levels, academically and behaviorally. We're going to visit 4 classrooms and look at how combinations of high and low standards and expectations get expressed. We'll look at the messages that are communicated to our students, messages that either open up doors for our students or close them. Let's look at the first classroom. In this classroom, the teacher clearly has high standards set for her students. She has set a very high bar for what success looks like in this class. In fact, if you look up the word rigor, this teacher's face is in the dictionary. However, this teacher is not convinced that all of her students are capable of meeting her demands. In her mind, a few will reach the top, most will middle out, and some will sink to the bottom. Classic bell curve. Some students have it, and some students don't. Over time, those students will see themselves as incapable of doing tough stuff. Now, let's look at a second classroom. In this room, the demand is simply not there. The bar has been lowered and the tasks are not rigorous. The teacher clearly has low standards for the students. Even worse, the teacher isn't convinced that the students will meet those low standards. A deal has been struck by this teacher. I won't demand much, I won't expect much, let's just get out of here alive. Over time, these students internalize these lowered standards and expectations as part of their own identity. Why bother trying? The work's not even worth the effort. Even if I did try, nobody thinks I've got a shot at pulling it off. Now, on to a third classroom. This classroom seems to be a bit of a contradiction. The teacher's standards are low, but his expectations for students are high. In this classroom, the teacher is concerned with his students and their sense of self-worth. He recognizes that they are up against a lot of issues in their lives. Stress, trauma, poverty, you name it. He wants his classroom to be a safe place for his students, a place where they can feel confident and good about themselves. The problem is, in the process, he's lowered his standards. The work is low level, so his gold stars aren't worth much. While well-intentioned, this teacher is slowly killing his students with kindness, because his students never encounter rigorous tasks that stretch them, grow them, and require them to persevere. Finally, let's look at the last classroom. By now you've guessed it. This teacher has both high standards and high expectations. She has set a high bar for all of her students, and she is convinced that they all can and will meet that bar. But there are some caveats. To live in this space means that a teacher will do whatever it takes for students to succeed. It means creating lessons that are meaningful to students with a range of experiences, a range in background knowledge, and a range of proficiency levels. It means establishing a classroom culture where making mistakes is seen as being okay, and it's safe to take a risk. It means being committed to the belief that just because a student is not yet there in terms of the target, does not mean that the student will never arrive at the destination. Remember, a student's current level of performance is not an indication of their ability to achieve. This is hard work, and the truth is, we can find ourselves in any or all of those classrooms. Even with the same group of students, we can set a high bar for some and a low bar for others. Believe that some have the capacity and others just don't. The good news is that we're not alone in this hard work. We have access to a range of resources, including other colleagues, to help us increase our own capacity to meet this high bar that's been set for us. It isn't easy, and it won't happen overnight, but it can be done.